We are competing for our customers' time. So our competition includes Snapchat, YouTube, sleep, etc. That's the CEO of Netflix. Netflix are competing for your time, for your attention. We are in the attention economy. And therefore, the best thing that we can be are attention seekers. Now, you were told this growing up, weren't you? Oh, you crave attention, you. You've got ADHD. You're attention seeking, that's bad. Da-di-da-di-da-di-da. And you know what? You couldn't have been told anything worse. You see, they used to tell us in school, oh, you're going to go into a world where we don't even know what the jobs are. So what is this trash you're learning me then? Why am I sat here learning this crap? And why are you telling me that I should or not want attention of people? Because in the end, attention is all we want. Attention is all we want. And if you deny that, and that's just denial of self. It's just you've been told all these years that attention's bad, and you shy away from it. You go into shame, and shame just shuts you down. As soon as you're shameful about anything, that's it. The tyrant within you takes over and tells you, look, shut off. You know, it's an incredible sense of self, isn't it, when you feel shame? You're suddenly aware of all the bad things about you and, you know, the situation in which you did not rise up to the occasion and be the person that you were meant to be. That's what shame's about. But when you think about stuff like that, there's no second or third or fourth thought. There's no logical thought. It's just a tyrant in your mind that comes and shuts your body down. It annihilates and murders that self that you've constructed inside yourself. Suddenly dissipates and you can get back on with life. But the attention that you just gave to that one particular point is gone. And you ever wish to bring it up to yourself again, good luck, good riddance to that thing. You feel okay again now. So as attention, where is it? Where is it? It's in what we're interested in at the end of the day. And we only pay attention to our attention when these things become obsessive. So they become hobbies, they become professions, they become careers, or they can become phobias, they become addictions, and they become mental disorders. So that's when we have, an intense obsession about something, when we're paying attention to something far too much. And we need to learn what it is to pay attention. Now, there's no tricks in the words. There's no trickery in the English language. When we're talking about paying for something, that's not only a cash transaction. And I think this is what we need to understand. Our attention is not free. In fact, it is all that we have. So if we allow that to be hijacked by these companies, which are openly competing for our attention, then what are we gonna have in the end? Because there is a real threat at the moment that our attention has been hijacked, and therefore we do not know what we need to do. We do not know who we want to be, and I suppose we don't know why we want to be what we want to be. This, in a sense, is the 3 degrees of your attention. You've got your functional attention, which is the goals and what you're doing on a daily basis, how you set up your day. You've got your existential attention, which is what you want to achieve and why it is that you're doing that every single day. And then you've got your epistemic attention, which is what are you providing to this world? What is the wider purpose? That is your focus. That is your time to reflect. That is your willpower and your reasoning abilities. Whereas the existential is in the moment, what your values are aligned to, your identity, how you're made up and what you think of yourself. And then, of course, the functional is the everyday, the logical task alignment that you've got to do on a daily basis. Nobody wakes up and thinks, do you know what, today I'm going to spend 4 hours on Facebook. But we all do it. Nobody wakes up today and thinks, do you know what, I'm going to spend 3 hours watching videos on YouTube. But that is the start. And do you know, how can you not? How can you resist this when there's 500 hours worth of YouTube content uploaded every minute? when there's hundreds and thousands and millions of tweets and emails, and it's impossible to keep up. So our attention has been hijacked at the moment through the variable conditioning that they do. When you scroll down the feed, of course, it's not, oh, I get something I like all the time. It's a slot machine. You scroll, you might get something that's boring. You might get something that you like. And that's what keeps us hooked. So they've designed this to attack our primordial brains, the instinctual self. It's not something that you can control. It's not like, oh, have more willpower, mate. Don't go on that. It's literally attacking your willpower. So I want to talk today about being an attention seeker, what you can do in this economy, and how you can survive, because at the end of the day, we need to take personal responsibility for ourselves and our own attention, but we also need to know how can we exist in this economy? How can we thrive in this economy? What do we need? What skills do we need to learn in order to achieve results in this economy? Because it is all about getting attention. For anybody, I don't care who you are. If I'm a landscaper and you're a landscaper, you've got 20 years experience and I've got 20 days experience. If I can get more attention than you, I'm going to make more money. I'm going to get more jobs. I'm going to get more work. Nobody cares about your 20 years experience anymore. That's a thing of the past. So what we need to understand is that money follows attention. And attention is our currency of today's times. That is our currency. How we value and utilize our attention and gather, maintain and monetize the attention of other people is ultimately how we're going to survive. And it doesn't matter what business you're in. You don't have to be in the content creation business to have to create content. Every business out there has got to create content, generate attention. It's a very complex thing, this. It's not something that you can just say on the basis, oh yeah, we've browsed Facebook, the server's ads, we're in an attention economy. No. We're in the feudal system where we're based on the lands. And then, of course, based on human labour. And then we've had an oil-based economy. We are now in the attention-based economy. This is it. This is what we've got. So our attention is set up by our interests. Let's start there. Of course, we only become interested in our attention and we only pay attention to where our attention is being paid when those interests become a little bit more than interests. They become a phobia, they become an addiction, they become a hobby, they become a discipline, they become a profession, they become a career. And in the end, that's always inspired by needs, but informed by nature. Once we've got enough out of the world, we no longer need to pay attention to the necessities which we've got in life, which were the material-based economy we had before. In the 90s, in the 80s, in the 70s, we was creating things. We did want more and more and more. But today, it's about minimalism. It's not about ownership. It's not about even real life. It's about how we're seen online and how we present ourselves online. And a lot of us experience now is a collective experience that is online. We all talk about the same things. It's not I thought this and I thought that, or I've been speaking about this. It's have you seen this on social media? And just look at the things that hijack our attention. Donald Trump did it in 2016, didn't he? And for many years afterwards. But who have we had after that? The George Floyd stuff. How many people were changing the profile pictures and there was this big collective story? I mean, last month we've only had Meghan Markle and Prince Harry absolutely took over the internet. Piers Morgan benefited from that, of course, generating some controversy, a lot of attention there around his name. And he's not going to lose from that. This is what you don't get. People, they don't lose from this stuff. This is what he wanted. This is what they want. They want to be in the headlines. And it's attention arbitrage. Everything that's happening in the world, what you'll see is all these YouTubers, they create a piece of content about it every single day because they know that that's what people are going to want to know. And they know that that's going to bring in more subscriptions, more views, and therefore more money. And this is the economy that we're in at the moment. This is the real economy. This is the biggest part of our economy at the minute. The content creators. And we're cutting out the middleman, aren't we? Let's face it. With what's happening. It's not I go to an ad agency and they create all my content. No, I pay this one influencer on Instagram directly. and he puts up my products on his Instagram and it's a featured post. So there's never been a time where you can connect to anybody in the world, talk to anybody in the world, ask them to come and do an interview on your podcast, release a podcast that, can be viewed by anybody. This is an amazing time if you learn how to use the tools and resources that we have instead of letting them use you. At the moment, you are being utilized and your attention is worth around $2 to $3 an hour. How bad is that? Because all we do, whether you're a director of a company, whether you're janitor, it doesn't matter. We have all got these instinctual drives within us that they are targeting with their algorithms that will keep us hooked and keep us addicted. And that is their aim. So, again, what we fail to take into account is man's infinite appetite for distractions. Aldous Huxley in Brave New World. Now, what was he saying there? And what if you've not seen or heard or read a Brave New World, it's essentially a utopia where everybody is fed. It's called Soma. It keeps everybody happy, keeps everybody distracted. And it's sort of the opposite of 1984 in the fact that people live in, so-called luxury, but it's not luxury. It's just a drug that makes them feel like they feel good. And it's very comparable today in regards to we've got everything that we want there, but as brains are so overstimulated that we don't. What do we want? And this is what we need to focus on. What do we want? Because again, going back to the epistemic attention, your distraction types. If we're distracted at the epistemic level, at who we are and why we want to be alive and what we want to provide to the world, we can't reflect. It is a depletion of his willpower. There's reasoning skills are depleted because we have been hijacked by social media. We are just looking at vacuums of information that project to us what we like and what we agree with, which does just reinforce our own beliefs. We're not learning anything new. We're not challenged. We're pitted against each other. And everybody likes what they like and they don't see what they don't like because that's not in the algorithm. The algorithm's there to keep you hooked, to keep you going. They might throw you something there at you when they know you're in a bad mood to make you comment. And again, keeping you engaged because it's not all about, let me give you something good to look at, because your negative emotion is easily triggered. What are they doing politically? Look at Donald Trump and how he used social media to get into power. But also, look at our attention and where it is at the moment. I mean, just over the last couple of weeks, we've had the Meghan and Harry. Jake Paul and Ben Askren are all over the internet at the moment. I don't know what is happening with that fight, but they know how to hijack this attention economy. What's she called? Bad Bardi. Bad Bardi, something like that. Bad Baby. So she went on Dr. Phil in 2017. She's gone viral this week because she's turned 18. She's signed up to OnlyFans after releasing a couple of rap songs last couple of years. Turns 18 on 1st of April. She opens an OnlyFans and earns $4 million in a couple of days. How? Because she went on Dr. Phil, which is a Jeremy Kyle in the States, basically. She made a couple of rap songs that are terrible. And then she accuses Dr. Phil of sending her to this camp. Turns 18, opens an OnlyFans. Utilises all the attention she's been building over the last couple of years with these simps online who just want to pay money to see women naked, which they can find online for free all they want if they wanted to do that. So it just baffles me. You can't knock her for what she's done. She's only utilising the attention that she's got in this economy. Whether she knows it or not, she is playing the game. She's pushing all the right buttons. And people might not consciously know this. Oh, do you know what? We're in an attention economy. Things have changed and this is what I need to do. But they see it happening and they do it and they replicate what the content creators have done who have had success. And cha-ching! There you go. So our attention, first of all, we pay attention to a lot more than we believe. And in our minds, there is subconscious desires that are unexpressed. Let's say from a Freudian standpoint. So all we're doing all day, Freud would say that we're picking everything up around us, any subconscious desires and unconscious desires that we have not yet fulfilled in the world. We're taking it all, and we're what's called the dream maker. We're waiting until tonight, till we can go to sleep, we can dream, and we can tell ourselves what we really want. And that's what Freud would say, that we're taking everything in on a subconscious level. Now, bearing that in mind, considering that there is these many different applications and devices that are trying to take our attention. You've got YouTube, you've got WhatsApp, you've got emails, you've got the news, you've got blogs, you've got Instagram, you've got Snapchat, you've got TikTok, you've got all this stuff. And then you've got your relationships and your job and where you want to be in life, what you want to do. So again, the threat, and what we do need to do is recognise the threat, the fact that we're served 6,000 to 10,000 ads every single day. We're spending hours and hours and hours on the phone, more hours on the phone than anything else that we do in the world, and, engaged in these devices. So we need to recognise these threats. Where do you spend your time? What do you spend your time doing on a daily basis? Observe yourself. How is your attention being hijacked? Because, you've got your narrow attention, which is what they hijack when they send you a notification to your phone, when they're sending you a buzz, a beep, a ding, dong. There you go. You've got something to attend to. Let's go. Oh, checking the phone straight away. And then you've got your wider attention, which again is the existential stuff. Why am I here? What am I focusing on long term? What am I thinking about? What am I reflecting about? What are my aims? What are my goals? Who am I? What do I want to do? How do I orientate my life? So if you're being hijacked every day, you don't wake up and think, today I'm going to browse YouTube, I'm going to browse Facebook, I'm going to go on Twitter, I'm going to spend 2 hours on Snapchat. You don't think that, do you? But that's what you do, because their aim is to make you spend as much time on their apps as possible. That's not beneficial to you. They're not doing that to help you out. They're doing that to make money. So this is what you got to understand. Recognise the threat. Where do you spend your time? Just observe yourself. We talked last episode about the digital detox. Try and take some time away and see who you are and what you want. The more time, the better, because I'll tell you the truth, I've come back and my head is a mess. I can't work. I can't focus on what I want to say in this podcast. I need some time. So, this is hard. It's hard to even try and put this out because I don't even know what I want to say. All I do is study the attention economy, and I'm just coming with you with a couple of little facts that, your attention is being hijacked. This is what people need to know. So once you recognise the threat and realise that they are trying to hijack your attention and they are doing that to serve themselves, to earn money, it's not to help you out, to connect you to your friends. That's not what Facebook is for. Facebook is to control you and change your behaviour and your attitude towards things that they get paid money for. Simple as that. If I pay Facebook, I expect them to find somebody and be able to convince them that they need a website. If I pay them, if I want to advertise on there, which I don't do currently, but of course, this is marketing. And that's what Facebook's job is. It's to sell things to you and to allow big corporations who can spend hundreds of millions of pounds to influence the minds of nations. Simple. So you need to understand that this is literally, it's what they call a system of industrialized persuasion. That's what they've created. So we're no longer dream makers. We're no longer taking everything in from our surroundings and allowing the subconscious to express those unexpressed desires. We're not doing that. We're not creating our own dreams anymore. We're not paying attention. What we pay attention to, and remember what we said earlier, we need to learn what it is to pay attention. There is a cost to it, because attention is defined as the taking possession by the mind in clear and vivid form of one out of what seem several simultaneously possible objects or trains of thought. It implies withdrawal from some things in order to deal effectively with others. So, by definition, when you pay attention to something, you are excluding other things. You are not paying attention to other things. So when you are giving your attention up to Netflix, to YouTube, to Snapchat, to WhatsApp, to TikTok, to Facebook, to Instagram, it doesn't matter what it is, they've hijacked your attention. You are no longer moving towards your wider purpose, and your wider attention is therefore being manipulated. You are seeing all these posts, you are seeing all these ads, you're seeing all these YouTubers, you're seeing all this content, you want to keep up. So you're thinking about the Kardashians and what's happening in mainstream and Meghan Markle and all this stuff, who are using the attention economy to hijack your mind, basically. So your wider attention's also being messed up. You're not thinking about your goals, you're not thinking about where you want to be, you're not thinking about who you want to be and what you want to do in life. You're thinking about all this stuff that you're exposing yourself to on a daily basis. You're becoming a consumer. So again, understanding the attention economy and understanding that we do live in a new world, and that where you're spending your time online is how you're spending your currency. If all you're doing is watching YouTube, watching Facebook, giving your attention up to anybody and everybody and anything that pops up, you may as well be walking around throwing money away, just throwing it up in the air in the streets or literally burning it, because that's all you are doing when you're giving up your attention. So step back a little bit, recognize the threat, understand that we do live in the attention economy, and what we need to do is unlearn the old ways of thinking and doing what we've been taught and how we're taught to live in the economy that we lived in and the world that we lived in. It doesn't exist anymore. That world does not exist anymore. That's not the tools we need in order to survive in this world. What we need to do is be able to withdraw from, the attack on us, like a daily attack on our attention with the industrialized persuasion. That's what they built a system of industrialized persuasion. That's what they said that they're building. So we need to unlearn the old ways of thinking and learn the new ways of thinking in terms of creating content that persuades and engages an audience. Looking at these things, and what I want to do over this month is talk about how can we become a content creator? How can we create content that actually breaks through the noise but also assists in the development of humanity and will assist in the development of whoever is hearing that. I want to create something here that's going to help people, help the youth understand where we are in the economy, but also help businesses understand how they can differentiate themselves. And that's my job at the end of the day. And doing this podcast is a way for me to become part of the action. Because when you do, you start looking at, well, I'm competing with Russell Brand, I'm competing with Logan Paul, I'm competing with all these YouTubers, I'm competing with Netflix, I'm competing with your sleep. And this is what they say. I'm competing with your sleep. So this is what we're competing for. We're in a global marketplace and it's scary. You don't want to put yourself out there. You don't want to join, this sort of revolution, I guess. But we need to accept the change. First off, unlearning the old ways of thinking and realizing that that's the old world and that those tools and resources no longer serve us. Those ways of thinking no longer serve us. I'm going to go out, I'm going to earn money, I'm going to save money, I'm going to buy an house. Those days are over, because if you've got no attention online, you're going to go broke. It doesn't matter. Let's say in 20 years, the attention economy will be in full-fledged. This will be it. This is all we've got. You're going to have to create content, mate. It doesn't matter if you can build an house or you can do this and that. Just step back a minute. Where is the economy going? Where's society going? Everything's going online, as attention is online. It's not in the real world anymore. The cryptos, the NFTs, the smart contracts, decentralized finance, online assets and all this. It's not. That is the future. And people are going to hold on to the world that we've got at the moment, but they're not going to survive. They're not going to thrive. The problem is with the attention economy, it relies on stars and fans. You can either choose to be a content creator and try to be a star, or of course, create a business around the stars to assist them in their development. I don't need to be the guy in the spotlight to earn money and survive and create a business out of this, and neither do you. You need to recognize that the attention economy is becoming, it's here in full-fledged, and you need to create a business around that, around the intangibles that we spoke about last episode. The point is, and the last point I want to make, is that you need to join this revolution and accept the change that's happening at the moment. Things aren't going back to normal. Things aren't going back to how they were before. We may get some of his freedoms back. That's fine. But the point is, we've fundamentally changed, and it's not the coronavirus, it's not the last year, it's not the pandemic, it's the last 25 years. It's several decades in the making to get to where we are now. And over the next 10, 20 years, this is it. This is all we're going to have. And it's a worldwide even playing field. You have got open access to a worldwide audience. And you're competing with everybody out there who's making content. Until you accept the change and accept this fact that you need to become a content creator and you need to come to this side and open your own podcast and think about what you can talk about, then we may have a chance to survive in the future. So, what are you interested in? Where's your attention? How's your attention being hijacked? Where's the threats? Do you understand the attention economy? Not just, I spend time on Facebook and therefore they serve me ads and they get paid. No, it's deeper than that. We are trading attention at all times. Businesses need to form that have one of 8 intangibles that allow them to offer something that cannot be recreated when we have got an abundance of information, an abundance of opportunity to create anything that we want online. I can create another Facebook tomorrow, but there's not 1 billion people on that platform. So it hasn't got the intrinsic value that Facebook has. It's user-generated content. That's all it is. It's a platform. We post stuff. We look at each other's stuff. And we're paying billions of dollars every year to advertise to each other. That is it. That's the platform. And it's one of the most influential weapons and tools that has ever existed. And of course, one of the richest businesses to ever exist in the history of the world. I'm not going to leave you with any quotes. I'm not going to leave you with anything special. What I'm going to leave you with is your attention intact. Think about it. What are you interested in? Why are you interested in it? And what can you do to ensure that your attention is not being hacked and you're not being played? It's not being used against you. Your own intrinsic values in your mind are not being utilised against you to keep you on these systems that don't serve you. The systems that you look at and the systems that you use to live your life and orientate your life, your phone, your social media, the news, they do not assist you. They are there to make money. So again, thank you for your time. What we will be doing this month is talking about attention. How can you survive in the attention economy? What's the best way to go about it? How do you build a business? What do you need to think about? We're going to continue exploring this topic at a further, deeper level. I'd like to thank you once again for your time. We'll be back. It's a Pit Village podcast. As always, we're sponsored by Prospect27. It's pay monthly websites. Check us out. It's prospect27.co.uk. All the best. We'll be back next week, and what I will be speaking about is the intangibles of the attention economy, how you can build a business around it, how you don't necessarily need to be Logan Paul and a YouTuber and creating yourself and putting yourself in the spotlight, but you do need to build a business that has got one of the 9 intangibles, or many of them, that's going to allow you to thrive in this new economy. So thanks a lot for your time. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.